Hey there, it's Nikki with Just Beyond the Cottonwoods. I'm here with another tutorial. This one is a little different than my previous tutorials. It is a watercolor card, but this in total is a baby shower gift for a friend and her new baby. I wanted to customize this project and I thought I would share with you how I paint my own cards, coordinate with wrapping paper, choose gifts from a registry, and customize a hand embroidered item all in once just to make this new mama and her baby and the new papa feel special and loved. And that's easy to do when you customize something, and I hope to share this skill with you so that you can spread the love that you have for people in your life as well. I'm using tube watercolor paint for this card that I'm going to paint to coordinate with that wrapping paper there. I'm using a round brush, and I have pre-printed the baby's name on this 4x6 card. I run my watercolor paper through my standard printer and then I cut it down to that 4x6 size so that I can use the craft envelopes at the top of the screen there that you see. I have those linked down below if you would like to get the same envelopes that I use. I've also linked some paper and a palette of watercolor. These two paints that I'm using here were a gift to me from my son, so I'm using them up. In the beginning of this video you may have seen that they were a little bit watery or greasy looking, and I'm not quite sure why that happens. I probably should look that up to find out, but once I put the water in there and stir them up, they look nice and I don't have any trouble painting with them, so I'm going ahead and using those. This is my teardrop flower. I use 3 petals and I fill in, leaving some white space just to add some interest and dimension here. I bring the petals down to a point, and I'm only using 3 of these colors. A couple of the other colors I didn't quite like how they were looking up against that watercolor, or against that wrapping paper, so I chose just to use the peach color and the turquoise and then that pretty sap green for my stems and leaves. And I'm turning the paper here and adding some darker pigment in, making sure that I rinse my brush between each color. Generally I like to paint flowers in bouquets in sets of 3 or 5 just to have an odd number. I think it's pleasing to the eye and it's enjoyable to paint not so symmetrically, just because it takes the pressure off. I don't have to be perfect when I'm painting. Sometimes I end up with an even number, but generally I like to come up with odd numbers here and there during my painting process. So I've got these petals going. I'm going to go back and rinse my brush and then pick up some green so that I can work on the stems here. This does take a little bit of a steady hand, so you may want to practice on a tester strip of watercolor paper that you've used from other projects, or just come up with some scraps from other projects to draw some straight lines, or just go for it. I didn't really over focus on making sure that these were perfect because I knew I could go back in with my leaf stroke and kind of go over any little places that I wasn't too happy with here. And as you can see, this stroke is one of my favorites. It starts with a light thin stroke, then you press all your bristles down and pull back up. I wanted a leaf in the center here. It was a little bit tricky because my petals are still wet, but I'm going to go ahead and just put the tip in and then skip a little bit of that petal and go down to cover up the center of my bouquet here. And I'm liking this. Just want to add a little bit to the bottom of the petal just to make it look more polished and finished here and give each little flower a little bit more distinction. And then I can let this dry while I'm wrapping the gifts. I'm going to show you the 3 colors that I did use here. I'm really liking that flesh tint. It's a peachy color and I think it's really pretty. So this will go nicely with the little bundle of gifts that I'm wrapping. The first gift is a hand embroidered sweater from the Mama's gift registry off of Amazon. That's linked below if you would like to stitch a sweater. I'm using a yarn here that I bought in New England over vacation, and I'm just gonna put in a little bitty flower, tuck it inside just because I think it looks sweet and delicate. And this is a new stitch for me, these sweaters, so I'm planning on making more, and if there's any interest I can do a tutorial on those. I used a chain stitch on those and it turned out really good. It wasn't too difficult. It took me probably about an hour to stitch overall, so that was nice. And I'm going to wrap all 3 gifts. I did pick a couple of books off of her registry, and I'm going to wrap those in the same paper. Now I love gift bundles or stacks of gifts. I don't know, I love giving them, I love receiving them. I grew up, my mom used to do it, and I just think they're so pretty. I know a lot of people like to use gift bags, and gift bags are great, but I love paper, I love stationery, I love wrapping paper, and I pick it up wherever I am. Sometimes at Marshall's, sometimes on Amazon, sometimes in boutiques. I just grab florals and plaid and stripe and solids, and I just keep them on hand for baby showers like this, and bridal showers and weddings and birthdays, and I just love to coordinate them and use them for all sorts of different events that I'm attending. So I'm wrapping this sweater up nice and tight. I did plan this box to coordinate with the books that I'm going to wrap for my stack. So there's a larger book and a smaller book, and this stack is a little bit on the smaller side, but it's going to look super cute. So if you would like some of the items that I've used, I didn't link the wrapping paper. I think I got that at Marshall's. The watercolors that I used are a gift from my son, and I'm not sure where he purchased them, but I do list below a watercolor option that is watercolor pans that are excellent and they last forever. I list some watercolor paper and those envelopes if you want to check those out. And I'm just wrapping this the standard way, pulling it up the side here, and then I don't usually cut off the excess. I just kind of tuck it under and make sure I get kind of close to the edge there, and move the gift around. And I could wrap packages for a job if someone would hire me, because it's so satisfying to me. And maybe I should try to do that at Christmas time, see if I can get hired on to wrap people's packages for them. But this paper is really nice paper. It was lined and marked for me, so it was easy to cut, and it's pretty thick, so it's not easy to tear, and it's really good to work with. So hopefully the mama and papa of the sweet baby will be blessed by this custom card and the books that they chose for their sweet baby on their registry, and their sweet baby's name on the hand embroidered sweater. I think handmade is such a sweet thing to give for people, and it just shows that you care and that you spent time thinking of them and their loved one, and you put your heart and soul into it. So I'm gonna leave you with this last wrapping, and I'm going to tie all these up together, and I hope you will check out some other tutorials here. I've got lots of tutorials for different occasions. If you ever have something you'd like to see me make, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see if I can add it to my list.